when I got a phone call that Dad was in the hospital with kidney, I'm gonna cry, with his kidneys failing, it was a very easy decision that, okay, it's my dad. It's gonna be me. And I just knew that it was gonna be me from the get-go. I have two younger sisters that have kids and have their own health issues. Not serious, they're both great, but I just knew that they probably wouldn't be a candidate for it. So from the get-go, from when even Dad was still just in the emergency room with his flare-up, I knew that we needed to start looking this way. So I started immediately asking, how do we get on the list? How do I become a living donor? And then I just really pushed. I advocated for myself and I advocated for my dad. And I didn't take no for an answer, even to the point where my uncle sat me down. He's like, if it's a tie between the two of us, it's gonna be him. It's gonna be my uncle. And I said, well, okay, but you're up for a challenge because I'm healthier than you. So it took about a year, because like my dad said, it was making sure that he was truly in renal failure and that his kidneys weren't going to come back alive. So they started the process of dialysis, and that was hard to watch that from me, because I'm just like, let's just do this already. I've got two kidneys, I'm good, let's just go. But because they have to make sure that I'm healthy and that, I had really good advocates for myself that kind of pulled my reins back a little bit and said, hey, we have to look 20, 30 years down the line and what your health needs may be. So I really congratulate my advocates, and they were looking out for me and what I would need in the future. So I had to do a ton of tests, lots of blood draw, a 24-hour urine collection, which that's fun. It wasn't the collection process, it was driving all of that urine to Seattle, and I'm thinking, oh, this is the day I'm gonna get into a car accident. Fortunately, got there, everything was fine. But so there are lots of steps, and there are times where I became impatient because I just wanted my dad to not be on dialysis anymore, and basically to free up that time for him. So fast forward to when I met the surgeon when I was at the hospital for one of my last meetings, just to kind of make sure that I was mentally sound, and for whatever reason I passed that test, which was still surprising to me. But I was like, I think it was November when I had that meeting, and I was like, we need to do this before the end of the year. And he's like, okay. And so I think that for me is just letting your doctors, letting the surgeons, letting your advocates know what your plan and what your desire are is huge, because they really worked hard, and I think we got one of the last appointments of the year before everything kind of got a little bit crazy with COVID again. So we really advocated for that. Surgery for me wasn't as easy as it was for my dad, but you just have to remember that I went from being 100% healthy to 50% sick overnight, and it just took my body a little bit of time to kind of recover. But I was up and walking. I got up and out of it that first day, but I wasn't walking as far as he was walking, which made me mad. Because he'd like come by with his little walker and like do laps, and I was like, if I could cuss, I would cuss right now. But I wanted to just flip him off because I couldn't get out of bed. But I'm fine now. I have no real obvious issues health-wise, other than I have a scar, and that's it. But other than that, I'm very healthy.